All right, let's get started. All right, AJ,
Hello,
thank you. Hello.
hello.
I don't know if I'm getting.
Uh, I can question from AJ Allmendinger.
Okay, Matthias, let me just start off here. We'll get right to you. If you want to put your computer on mute, we'll get right to your question here in a little bit. We'll have plenty of time with AJ. So I'll call on you in a little bit there, Matthias. In the meantime, AJ, if obviously we're going to another road course, believe this is what, the third of the season. Obviously, you excel on these types of layouts. Road America only the second time for the Cup Series here. Talk about your mindset and how much you're looking forward to going over to Wisconsin this weekend.
Yeah, Road America has always been one of my favorite racetracks. Just in anything that I've driven over my career there. Been fortunate enough to race a lot of races there in open wheel, different forms. Won a champ car race there. So, it's a racetrack that is challenging. It's unique. There's not a lot of racetracks in especially in North America that really are like Road America with the speed down the straightaways. You still got really big break zones, a lot of passing opportunities, a lot of areas to make mistakes. That's something it's in a way still a true road course because there's no runoff area really. You go off the racetrack, you're in gravel or grass, so you got to be pretty spot on the racetrack throughout the 4 miles. So it's a fun weekend. Knock on wood, the weather looks really good, and I love the crowd there. The Wisconsin race fans, like, they pack that place in. It's cool to have Cup going there as well now. So we've had speed over the first two road courses, winning them in Xfinity. I think we can improve. That's something that we've been working hard at College Racing. It's by no means do we think, okay, our road course program is set and we're good to go. We've been working hard to make our race cars faster. So it's going to be a tough field in both series. So pumped up to get there and hopefully have a strong weekend.
Awesome. Thank you, AJ. If you have a question for AJ, please raise your hand in the Zoom function, and we'll get to as many questions as we can. And we'll start with Rob Tiongson. Go ahead, Rob.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks for joining us today, AJ. Always good to see you.
You too, Rob.
So to lead things off, my first question is, obviously it's really hot and humid as of these last few weeks in races, and obviously I think you had a little situation in Nashville. So first off, how are you doing, and how you've been kind of like healing from that situation?
Yeah, honestly, it was really hot in Nashville. The Xfinity cars have always been really hot. I was actually okay. The only problem I had on the race on Saturday was my foot got really hot. Going to the shop and looking at the race car, we think we know why. By no means was it cold inside the race car through the rest of the cockpit, but really I was actually okay. It was just the fact that on my throttle pedal was crazy hot. So when I got out of the race car, I was just trying to cool my feet down and get my shoes off. So I was fine Sunday during the race, no issues. So feeling good and just rehydrating and getting ready for another long weekend.
Absolutely, and hopefully no blisters on your heels. That's the worst feeling at a road course, I would imagine.
It was actually so as we've all seen when I walk, I don't really walk on my heels. I've never worn out a pair of shoes in the heels ever. Like, I could probably resell all my shoes from basically the middle of my foot back and make all my money back because I've never touched the heel of my shoe. So the heel's never been a problem. I don't even wear booties in the car for my feet. It was actually just the pedal itself. So like my toes and the top of my foot got really hot. So, but no blisters. It was all good.
For sure. My last question for you is, obviously in the Xfinity side, you're again making yourself known as a title contender. You did mention about wanting to improve upon speed on the road courses, but kind of like thinking ahead for July with the road courses, and of course Atlanta coming up in New Hampshire. How encouraged are you about the overall package of College Racing? It seems like you guys are making some strides at last on speed.
Yeah, Rob. I mean, I think it's one of those things. Obviously, we're leading the points, which is great. I mean, if we're going to be brutally honest, if we had to go race Phoenix tomorrow in the championship, I don't think we have a shot to win it. But with that said, we have still a good amount of time before the playoffs start. That last year at this point, we were second in points. Probably felt a little bit better about our speed, but because of that and with no practice, we were always afraid to really try anything to try to improve the race car. We kind of thought, okay, we're still pretty good. You don't want to hurt that. The great thing about where we're at right now is we know we need speed, and all the men and women at College Racing are working hard, trying different things at every race. Nashville was a racetrack that the year before, even though the finish showed that we ran okay, we were actually really bad at. So to go back to Nashville this year, qualify second, be quickest in most of the practice, lead some laps, was encouraging because we were definitely trying some new stuff. By no means were we the fastest car at the end of that race to go win it. So we definitely have a lot of room to improve, but we're working hard on it. So, as of this moment, are we the championship favorite? I don't think so. I think you got to look at all the JRM cars. They got everybody beat. What Justin Allgaier did at Nashville, he put an ass whooping on us. So we definitely have some work to be done, but that's what I love about this team. We are working hard and we are improving. Maybe it's not as quick as we want to be, but we'll get there. And we got time before the playoffs start. So that's what I love about it.
Absolutely, AJ. Well, best of luck this coming weekend, and hope to catch up with you soon, Mr. North Carolina.
Appreciate it, Rob. Thank you, man.
You got it.
Next, we'll go to Matthias. Go ahead, Matthias.
Hi, AJ. I am Matias Viana from Buenos Aires, Argentina. My questions is two. Knowing that you win in 2013 in NASCAR Xfinity Series with Tim Penske, car number 22.
Matthias, I think you may have put yourself on mute there, bud. There you go. Try again.
Knowing, la pregunta va de nuevo, excuse me. Knowing that you win in 2013 NASCAR Xfinity Series, can you repeat the win in the Xfinity or Cup this weekend?
Yeah, it's so the last 2 years there at Road America for College Racing, we've had really fast cars at Road America. We've just had a little bit of bad luck. We've had I actually went back and watched the race last night to get ready and realized how fast we were last year there, and we just had some mistakes on pit road that put us in the back of the field. And the way the strategy worked out, we didn't have tires at the end of the race when a couple of those guys did. And the previous year, we were the same way. I think we were leading and got the strategy wrong. So we've definitely had speed there. We've worked hard to try to improve it because I think, is just like in every series, everybody's improving. So it'll be a challenge, but I definitely think we'll have the speed to go win there. We just got to execute. That's what's hard about Road America is because the racetrack is so long, you can use different strategies and you never really lose a lap. So if you play a strategy and it works out for you, it's a big advantage. And that's what happened last year for a couple of those guys. So I have confidence that we can go there and be at our best and really have a shot to win this race. We just got to make sure we execute. That's what it's always about. It's tough to get in the back of the field and try to drive through the field and get back to the front, which is what we had to do a lot last year. And by the end of the race, I'd used up the car as well. So on speed, I think we'll be pretty good. We just got to make sure we execute.
Why Road America is your track favorite?
Yeah, I mean, Road America it's up there for sure. What I love about it is as I said before, was you got everything on that racetrack. Long straightaways. You have really fast corners. The carousel and the kink are incredibly fast. Turn 1's incredibly fast. But you also have big brake zones like into turn 5 into Canada corner. So it's a couple things. It's real easy to use up the tires there. It's easy to make mistakes. but there's also a lot of passing opportunity if you get in the back of the field. So I love the racetrack. And, I think Xfinity always puts on a great race. I think with the next gen cars, they're really going to put on a great race in the Cup race on Sunday. So I'm happy that I get to be a part of both of them.
Last question. How define a race finish with Austin Cindric or Ross Chastain in Road America?
Well, at the end of the day, I hope we're battling for the win. That's what makes it fun. Hopefully it's a little bit different outcome from COTA with Ross, but yeah, I mean, it's especially in the Cup Series, Matthias, it's, the top 20, if you get it right, probably can win the race, maybe even top 25. That's how difficult the Cup Series is. So it's not like you just can pick one or two guys and say, oh, these are the guys I have to go race for the win, especially with this next gen car. We've seen, every weekend a different team can hit the setup right and be really fast. We saw what Daniel Suarez did at Sonoma and Chris Buescher. So it's going to be tough, but it'd be fun to be battling those guys for the win for sure.
Thanks, AJ. Have a good weekend in Road America.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Next, go to Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thanks. Hey, AJ, how much carryover can there be from Sonoma or even COTA to Road America? Because Road America is more of a high-speed course. So I'm assuming that what happened at Sonoma doesn't carry over as much and maybe not as much at maybe a little bit more at COTA, or can you explain that to me?
Yeah, Dustin, I really hope it carries over more from COTA than Sonoma for us because COTA, I thought the car was crazy fast. It was one of the most fun cars I've driven in my life. Sonoma was not so much of that. So I would have to say if I had to pick out of those two racetracks, it's probably a little closer to COTA. Sonoma's just it's tough because you just burn the tires off there. Even if your car is good, you burn the tires off there. It was really difficult to pass. That was what was shocking at Sonoma with these next gen cars. In the past Sonoma, I've been where I'd gotten in the back of the field for some reason. And yeah, it wasn't like you just blistered up through the field, but you could make passes. It was really tough to pass at Sonoma with these next gen cars. I think we see that at times, right, Dustin? Like certain racetracks, it's great racing. And then you go to the next racetrack and you're like, wow, like Martinsville was like, nobody could pass there. So, the speed of COTA and the way the racetrack kind of flows is closer to Road America. But I do say that Road America has a possibility about using the tires up. I'm still a bit confused sometimes on the racetracks that we go to. Sometimes with these wider tires and the low profile tires, they don't wear out as much as I expect them to. And then sometimes they really do wear out. Like Sonoma, there was nothing I could do to keep the rear tires on the car. I would burn them off so quick. So I think we learned a lot from Sonoma of what we were trying to do that didn't work. So kind of used what we learned in COTA, went to the sim and felt pretty good about it. But we'll see when we unload there on Saturday for the Cup cars and see where we're at.
I'm also curious with the Cup car is what is it like from the driver's point of view in terms of consistency? Obviously, with the Xfinity car, your experience with the Cup car previously, you had a really good history, and it just seems like right now in the Cup Series, there's a high level of inconsistency, sometimes from week to week for teams and drivers. And I'm curious, what is that like on a driver when you don't know what you're going to have, and maybe one week you're on top of the world and the next week you can't get out of 25th?
Yeah, it for me personally, it's fun because let's be completely honest here. If like in the past, especially with the old car, like when we were at the 47 car, we knew these types of races, we could go run well, but half the time at a 1.5 mile racetrack, no matter what you did, you could be perfect that weekend and you probably run 20th just because those cars had been massaged so much aero wise and the big teams knew so many tricks of what they could get through tech, what they could show the officials to get them looking in that area and know other areas that they could really cheat up and was never going to be seen. So it was tough sometimes going to those race weekends, just going, God, I hope at best we can run 18th. With this next gen car now, your eyes are kind of wide open. Yeah, there's some weekends that I've gotten in the car and I mean, it's just, you're terrible all weekend and it's a struggle. But also, we went to St. Louis. I had no practice, never seen the place before, got the car dialed in mid-race, and I drove up through the field. I actually thought we had a top 5 car by the end of the race. Even last week, we got the car right and we were getting into the edge of the top 10. So that makes it fun because if you hit the setup right, and the 2 road courses are the perfect example of that. Coda, I started the back and we were a top 2 car all day between me and Ross. Sonoma, I was at best 11th or 12th. So it does make it fun because at least if your team and you go execute and you get the setup right, you can go have a shot to win races or run up front. I think what it is they're so aero sensitive of getting the nose right on the front, getting the rear right, and getting everything to go along with that. It's hard to hit the setup. So, I think that's why you see that inconsistency, but I think it makes it fun because all these teams are showing up to these races knowing that they have a shot to do well if they get the setup right.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Brendan Carroll. Go ahead, Brendan.
Hey, Jay. First off, hope you're having a good day so far. I got 2 questions for you.
Yeah, Brandon, go ahead, man.
The first question is, what does it mean to you to have 10 of Kaulig Racing's 16 wins in the Xfinity Series?
Yeah, I mean, it's special to me, Brendan. I was very fortunate at the 47 to get their first Cup win, and you get that banner hanging in there. And, to come to Kaulig Racing back in 2019, I mean, there was some pole banners hung up, some stage win banners, but, there was no win banners. And it was something that, as I got to know Matt Kaulig and Chris Rice and all the men and women there, I really took pride in of like, okay, I hope I can help be a part of this organization and try to make it better. And I'm probably more, I go to the racetracks and I probably go to the race shop, even though I'm at this stage in my career and in life, probably with more anticipation and anxiety because I want to be at my best for this organization because I want to go win races. So to be able to see all those banners and help kind of keep trying to build to have a Cup win banner in there from Indy is really special. So I love it. I just want to, whether I'm in the race car or out of the race car, I just want to make the race team better. And, hopefully I'm a small part of that.
And my second question for you is, so with New Hampshire coming up, you guys only go there one time a year. What other tracks can you say apply for notes wise for that track, since it's kind of a unique track being it's flat and a 1 mile track, so it's like.
Yeah, I think it's loud. We've been there enough. At least I have, and a lot of these teams, they've been there so much. You kind of know the idea of what the racetrack is. I would say the resin that they put down there at times does change it a bit. So it gets a little bit more of a difficulty of trying to figure out what the racetrack's going to do, just because the resin's actually a lot more consistent than the PJ1 is. So it's a little easier, but it still throws that curveball into the racetrack. What's it like to other racetracks? Sometimes I think it's, you can look at a place like Martinsville, like, okay, if the car was turning good there and had good grip, you can apply it a bit, but it is unique. It's actually probably a little bit like St. Louis too, even though it's the straightaways are a little bit longer at St. Louis. But it's its own racetrack. And I think, if you're asking about racetracks that, maybe we only go to once and we should only go to once. I think there's open possibilities as long as you have other racetracks that you can put on the schedule and add. I think that's what's great about NASCAR where it's at right now is with the scheduling. They do have options of maybe trying new racetracks, and we've seen that. And moving down the future, I do think there's great possibilities of maybe you only go to a racetrack once and you add another different city that we haven't been to and you go there. So, but fortunately I don't have to worry about that. I just drive at the racetracks that they tell us to drive at. And Loudon, I will always say, is when your car's right, I've always enjoyed that racetrack. When it's wrong, it is one of the hardest, most difficult racetracks because you can't do anything about it and you seem like you're always in the way. So that is what's I've been on both ends of the spectrum there. So hopefully we're on the good end in a couple of weeks when we show up to Loudon.
I agree, because I'll be there, and I have hot passes, so I hope to see you in Victory Lane.
I hope so too, man. Look forward to seeing you there.
If you win, give me the checkered flag.
Give you the checkered flag? All right, we'll work on that.
Okay. Have a good day, and good luck in Road America this weekend.
Appreciate it, man.
AJ, we have one more emailed in from Bob Parkers, who is in the air to Road America. You kind of touched on this a little bit, so I don't know if you have anything to add, but his question is, you had some issues with heat and your feet in Nashville. Are there any changes that can be made to help with that, either this week at Road America or at the next expected hot race at Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was so the Xfinity car. It's just I don't know honestly why. I've talked to a lot of drivers about this. Like, they're just hot. I mean, the cars themselves, whether the right side window's in or right side window's out, like they're hot, and that's something that during these hot races, like, you just have to deal with. And I've always said is that the Xfinity cars are a good bit hotter than the Cup cars. The Cup cars, when we first started testing, before they started putting the vents and everything into the car, they were crazy hot. But since then, they haven't been too bad. So the Xfinity cars are just hot. That getting in the races that they're going to be hot. Our issue at Nashville, I think we figured out of why it was extremely hot in the foot box. So I'm not as worried about it going to Atlanta. But yeah, during these summer races, it's just, you got to prepare yourself. College Racing does a lot with cooling. We got the cool shirt that we all wear, and that helps a huge amount. And the rest of it, you just try to train for it, hydrate, and be ready.
Excellent. All right, AJ, that is all the questions we have. Good luck this weekend. Thank you so much for your time, and safe travels to Road America.
I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.